In the heart of northern Italy, sitting on ground that was once a swamp, stands a 22,000-ton monster. It is older than the Colosseum in Rome. It has survived wars, floods, and an earthquake that flattened everything around it. It has been a hunting ground for gladiators, a home for medieval squatters, a rodeo for American cowboys, and today, it is the largest open-air opera house on the planet. But this stone giant is fighting a new battle. It is sinking, it is crumbling. And every single summer, a small army of engineers has to fight Mother Nature to keep the show going. How did ancient builders 2,000 years ago create a structure that works better than most modern stadiums? And why did a massive steel Christmas star recently smash into the ancient steps, threatening to ruin everything before the 2026 Olympics? We are going deep inside the Arena di Verona to uncover the engineering secrets that keep it standing. From the floating foundation that defied gravity to the acoustic miracle that needs no microphones. This isn't just a pile of old rocks, it is the most indestructible machine ever built. To understand why this building is a miracle, you first have to look at the dirt. Verona sits in a bend of the Adige River. 2,000 years ago, this area was marshy, soft, and unstable. In the construction world, we call this soup. If you build something heavy on soup, it sinks, and the Romans wanted to build heavy. They were planning a structure capable of holding 30,000 people. That was the entire population of the city at the time. It's like building a stadium today that holds 8 million New Yorkers. So, how do you stop a mountain of stone from sinking into the mud? You make it float. The Roman engineers didn't dig deep pylons like we do for skyscrapers today. Instead, they excavated a massive shallow bowl and filled it with a mix of cement, river pebbles, and flint. This created a giant rigid raft about 15 feet thick. Think of it like a lily pad. If you stand on a lily pad, you sink. But if you are a frog, your weight is spread out and you float. The arena is basically a giant stone frog sitting on a concrete lily pad. But the mud wasn't the only enemy. The real killer was water. If rain got trapped inside this bowl, it would turn the arena into a swimming pool. The water would seep into the cracks, freeze in the winter, expand and crack, shatter the stone from the inside out. So, they built a machine under the machine. Beneath the floor where gladiators fought, there is a complex network of drains. These aren't just little pipes, they are massive tunnels, 2 meters high, tall enough for a basketball player to walk through. They slope perfectly towards the river using gravity to flush out the water. This system is so efficient that even today, when a summer storm dumps thousands of gallons of water on the arena, the floor drains it away in minutes. We are talking about 2,000-year-old plumbing that works better than the drain in your shower. For 1,000 years, the floating giant did its job. It hosted beast hunts, executions, and games. But on January 3rd, 1117, the arena faced its boss battle. A massive earthquake, estimated at a magnitude of roughly 7.0, ripped through northern Italy. This wasn't a little rattle. It flattened cathedrals, it toppled towers, and it hit the arena hard. Originally, the arena had a third outer ring, a towering facade of white and pink limestone that stood 30 meters high. That's as tall as a 10-story building. When the earthquake hit, this outer ring took the full force of the shockwave. The limestone blocks, held together by iron clamps and gravity, began to dance. The outer ring collapsed, almost all of it. The rubble became a quarry for the city. If you walk around Verona today, you will see Roman stones in the walls of houses, churches, and castles. The arena literally built the city, but 4 arches refused to fall. We call this Lala, the wing. Why did this tiny slice survive when the rest crumbled? Local legend says the arena was built by demons in a single night as part of a deal with the devil. The story goes that the Virgin Mary stopped the demons before they could finish the outer wall, which is why it looks incomplete, but the engineering truth is even stranger. The earthquake likely moved in a specific wave direction, and the ala happened to be at a node point where the vibration was cancelled out. It was a 1 in a million stroke of luck. Today, that lonely wing stands as a reminder of what we lost, and it acts as a crucial clue for archaeologists trying to figure out how tall this beast originally was. We are only halfway through the life of this stone giant. We still have to talk about how it became a red light district, a cowboy arena, and the site of a modern engineering disaster. If you're enjoying this deep dive into history, hit that like button to help us keep building these documentaries. Now, back to the Dark Ages. After the earthquake, the arena didn't stay empty. It became a slum. In the Middle Ages, the city of Verona didn't see the arena as a monument. they saw it as free real estate. The dark, damp arches, the spaces where rich Romans once bought snacks, were rented out by the city. Who lived there? The outcasts. For centuries, the arena was the city's designated zone for prostitutes. It was a medieval red light district built inside a Roman ruin. Prostitutes were legally required to live there to keep vice contained. But it wasn't just a place to live, it was a place of inspiration. In the early 1300s, a poet named Dante Alighieri was living in Verona, exiled from his home in Florence. You might know him as the guy who wrote the Divine Comedy, the most famous description of hell ever written. Historians believe that when Dante looked at the arena, this massive, crumbling, circular pit, he saw the shape of the underworld. The concentric circles of stone steps going down and down look exactly like his description of the circles of hell. So, when you look at the stadium, you are literally looking at the blueprint for the inferno. And sometimes it really was hell on earth. In 1278, the ruler of Verona, Alberto della Scala, used the arena for a horrific spectacle. He rounded up nearly 200 heretics, people who disagreed with the church, and burned them alive inside the amphitheater. Imagine the smoke trapped inside that stone bowl. It was a grim reminder that this building was designed for death, not music. Fast forward to the late 1800s. The heretics are gone, the prostitutes are moved out, and the arena is looking for a new purpose. Enter Buffalo Bill. That's right. In 1890 and again in 1906, the famous American showman William Buffalo Bill Cody brought his Wild West show to Verona. Imagine this. Native American chiefs and American cowboys riding horses across the same sand where Roman gladiators once fought lions. It was a bizarre clash of empires. The Roman Empire meets the American frontier. But the arena was just a novelty venue, a circus tent made of stone. Nobody realized its true superpower. Not until a tenor named Giovanni Zenatello went for a walk in 1913. It is 1913. The 100th birthday of the composer Giuseppe Verdi is coming up. Giovanni Zenatello, a famous opera singer, is strolling through the empty arena with some friends. He wants to know if this ruin could host a real concert. He stands in the center and sings a note. He expects the sound to get lost in the open air. Usually without a roof, sound escapes upwards. But something magical happens. The sound hits the concentric stone steps. The limestone acts like a massive baffle, catching the sound and bouncing it back down to the audience, while also carrying it up to the highest seats. Zenatello realizes he doesn't need microphones. He doesn't need speakers. The building is the speaker. On August 10, 1913, they staged Ada. It was a gamble, but it worked. The acoustics were perfect. Even in the cheapest seats, the gradinata, the unnumbered stone steps at the very top, you could hear the singer breathe. This kicked off a tradition that continues today. Before every show, a gong is struck 3 times. This signals the audience to shut up because there are no amplifiers to save the singers. If you whisper, you ruin it for everyone. But there is another tradition that started that night in 1913. Electricity was still a new luxury, and the arena was dark. So, the audience brought small candles, called moccoletti. As the sun went down, thousands of people lit these tiny flames. Today we have floodlights and lasers, but the tradition stuck. Before the music starts, the lights go out, and 15,000 people light their candles. It turns the dark stone bowl into a glittering sea of stars. It is one of the few times where the audience is just as beautiful as the show. Speaking of shows, the arena didn't just stop at opera. It became a legendary venue for modern music. But that comes with its own risks. In 2016, the superstar Adele performed here. Halfway through her set, the heavens opened. A massive storm hit Verona. In a normal venue, the show would stop. But Adele, standing on a stage 2,000 years older than rock and roll, just kept singing. She belted out Set Fire to the Rain while actually getting soaked by the rain. The crowd, drenched in their ponchos, stayed for every note. It proved that the magic of the arena is stronger than the weather. But performing opera outdoors in 2025 is a logistical nightmare. And that brings us to the modern machine. Running the arena today is like playing Tetris with 1,000-pound blocks. First, the sets. They are huge. We're talking 40-foot sphinxes and golden pyramids, but the arena is in the middle of a pedestrian city center. The trucks have to squeeze through medieval gates with inches to spare. Once inside, they can't drill into the floor to secure the sets. That would damage the monument. Everything has to be weighted down with sandbags or counterweights. They are building a temporary city every single night and tearing it down by dawn. And let's talk about the human logistics. An opera like Ada doesn't just need a few singers. It needs an army. We are talking about hundreds of extras known as compas. They dress as soldiers, slaves, and priests. Backstage, it is organized chaos. There are horses, sometimes elephants, and hundreds of people changing costumes in narrow, ancient corridors that were originally designed for gladiators and tigers. It is a miracle that no one gets lost in the labyrinth, but the biggest boss fight is still the rain. Remember, there is no roof. The rules here are brutal. If it rains before the show, they can delay the start by up to 2.5 hours. You sit there on the wet stone waiting. But here's the kicker, the first act rule. If the opera starts and they finish the first act, the show is considered done. If it rains in Act 2, the show stops and you get zero refund. It's a high-stakes gamble between 15,000 spectators and the clouds. Interestingly, the Romans had a solution for this 2,000 years ago that we still haven't figured out today. It was called the velarium. If you look closely at the top of the surviving wing, you can see stone brackets or corbels. In ancient times, these held massive wooden masts. A team of sailors, actual trained sailors from the Roman Navy, would use ropes and pulleys to stretch a giant canvas awning over the crowd. It was the world's first retractable roof. It protected the audience from the brutal Italian sun. Today, engineers are terrified of touching the ancient stone, so we have no roof. The Romans were bold enough to turn a stone building into a sailing ship. We just hand out plastic rain ponchos. And sometimes, the modern equipment fights back. For decades, Verona has displayed a massive steel shooting star at Christmas. The tail shoots out of the arena and lands in the square. It's iconic. But in January 2023, disaster struck. During dismantling, the 78-ton steel base slipped. It smashed into the ancient limestone steps of the caveat. The damage was significant. Chunks of 2,000-year-old stone were pulverized. It was a wake-up call. We are putting heavy industrial steel onto a fragile antique. As a result, in 2024 and 2025, the tail of the star was banned. They replaced it with a beam of light, a ghost of the star. It proved that even the strongest rock has a breaking point. Now the arena is gearing up for its biggest global moment since the Roman Empire. In 2026, it will host the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics. But wait, winter in an open-air stone bowl? This is the ultimate engineering challenge. The stone steps become dangerously slippery when frozen. The cold can crack the limestone if water gets into the fissures. Engineers are currently working on winterizing a building designed for summer sun. They are sealing cracks, upgrading the electrical grid, and for the first time in history, installing elevators to make the ancient tiers accessible to everyone. There was talk of building a new retractable roof, a controversial $14 million project to cover the arena like a convertible car, trying to recreate what the Romans did with the velarium. But purists hate it. They say it ruins the acoustics and the history. For now, the arena remains open to the sky just as the Romans intended. The Arena di Verona shouldn't exist. The ground was too soft, the earthquake was too strong, the steel star was too heavy. But it's still here. It stands as a testament to the idea that if you build something well enough, it doesn't just survive history, it becomes a stage for it. What happens when a city spends hundreds of millions of dollars on a monumental sports arena, only to completely lock the doors a few decades later? Across America, colossal concrete leviathans are silently rotting away. Today, we are counting down 10 of the most spectacular abandoned stadiums in the United States, uncovering toxic bat infestations, catastrophic engineering failures, and billion-dollar monopolies. But stick around for number one, because you'll see the $35 million wonder of the world that is currently costing taxpayers millions just to keep the lights off, because the government is legally trapped between a $55 million demolition bill and a $750 million renovation. We start our countdown with a rapid-fire look at 3 stadiums showing how fast things can go wrong. Number 10, Fairgrounds Field in Shreveport, Louisiana. This baseball park opened in 1986 with room for over 4,000 fans, but it was doomed from day one. The stadium was built with terrible drainage and flooded constantly. Worse, the architecture created a perfect dark cave for thousands of protected bats. Once the minor league team left in 2011, bats completely took over. The city literally had to power wash the stadium daily just to keep the toxic bat droppings from piling up. When it came time to finally tear the concrete down, it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars just to legally move the flying bats. Number 9, McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. This was a classic piece of New England history, opening in 1942. For 50 years, it was like a miniature Fenway Park. The Boston Red Sox minor league team played here, and it hosted the longest game in professional baseball history, lasting an unbelievable 33 innings. But modern sports demand shiny new toys. The beloved team left for a new city in 2020, leaving McCoy to rot. During the pandemic, the empty parking lot was used as a drive-through testing center, a sad end for a place of joy. It finally met the wrecking ball. Number 8. Cooper Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, built in 1931. This was the very first stadium designed specifically with built-in lights for night games. Franklin Delano Roosevelt even kicked off his presidential campaign here, but after the local baseball team left in 2008, a crazy plan was hatched to turn the empty stadium into a half-mile automotive racetrack. They knocked down half the grandstands, but the money ran out. Now half a stadium sits rotting right next to the interstate, frozen in time as a completely failed dream. Number 7, Engle Stadium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now we are slowing down because this story is legendary. Engle Stadium was built in 1930 for $200,000 by a master promoter named Joe Engle. This guy was the absolute king of minor league crazy stunts. He once traded his starting shortstop for a 25-pound turkey, and he staged a fake wild elephant hunt on the baseball field. But the most famous moment happened in 1931. The mighty New York Yankees came to town for an exhibition game. Joe Engle brought in a 17-year-old girl named Jackie Mitchell to pitch. She stepped up to the mound and did the impossible. She struck out Babe Ruth, then she struck out Lou Gehrig right after him. It is one of the greatest moments in sports history. Despite this incredible legacy, the stadium was eventually abandoned by its main team in 2000. It sat quiet for years, only briefly coming back to life as a movie set for the film 42. Now a local university owns the land, and despite protests from history lovers, the stadium is scheduled to be destroyed to build a sports complex. If you are enjoying the video, kindly like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Number 7 was wild. But wait until you hear about the fatal engineering flaw coming up in number 3. Number 6, the Rubber Bowl in Akron, Ohio. Built in 1940 for just over $500,000, this horseshoe stadium held over 35,000 screaming college football fans. But the builders did something highly unusual. To save money, they dug into the side of a large hill and built the stadium seats directly into the dirt. The stadium itself became a giant retaining wall holding up the city boulevard right above it. When the university team left in 2008, the stadium became a playground for vandals. The city wanted to tear it down, but they were physically trapped. If they brought in bulldozers to smash the concrete, the entire hill and the busy road above it would collapse into the empty stadium bowl. They had to spend years doing a surgical slow-motion demolition, carefully filling the bowl with dirt and heavy concrete to stop a devastating landslide. Number 5, Alonzo Herndon Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a tragic story of a once proud Olympic venue. Named after Atlanta's first black millionaire, a man born into slavery who built an empire, this 15,000-seat stadium was a jewel of the vibrant city. It hosted huge concerts, boxing matches, and even the 1996 Olympic field hockey finals. But the college that owned it went bankrupt. Stripped of its money, the school abandoned the stadium in 2014. Today, it is a haunting urban jungle. Trees are growing right through the bleachers, and every inch is covered in bright spray paint. It looks so much like the end of the world that Hollywood used it as a set for dystopian movies. Number 4, Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. This stadium did not die from old age. It was legally assassinated. For nearly 50 years, this 40,000-seat stadium in the harsh desert was the heart of Las Vegas football and Supercross events. But then the city built the shiny $2 billion Allegiant Stadium. To make sure the new, expensive stadium had no competition, authorities wrote a ruthless legal contract. They banned the local university from ever using their old Sam Boyd Stadium for any events ever again. They created a fake monopoly. The university was forced to abandon their perfectly good, fully paid-off stadium and still had to spend $500,000 a year just to guard the empty band building. The situation was so ridiculous that the county finally bought the land for $5 million just to tear the stadium down. We are getting close to the top of the list. Number 4 was a victim of corporate greed, but our number 1 spot is going to blow your mind with its sheer size and paralyzed status. First, let us look at a stadium defeated by the very air around it. Number 3, Aloha Stadium in Hawaii. Opening in 1975, this was the undisputed king of Hawaiian sports, famous for hosting professional football all-star games. It was built for $37 million using a special metal called Core 10 steel. This unique steel is designed to rust on the outside, creating a protective brown shield that stops the inside from rotting. This architectural trick works great in cities like Pittsburgh, but the architects forgot one massive detail. Hawaii is surrounded by the ocean. The air is packed with heavy continuous salt. The salty ocean air stopped the protective shield from forming. Instead, the rust ate right through the massive steel beams like a slow-moving acid. Over decades, the salt air fundamentally destroyed the skeleton of the massive building. In 2020, officials realized the giant structure was literally crumbling and condemned it as unsafe for crowds. The salt won the battle, and the legendary stadium is currently being taken apart piece by piece. Number 2, Miami Marine Stadium in Florida. This place is an absolute architectural masterpiece. Built in 1963 for $2 million, it features a massive concrete roof folding over the beautiful water. It was built for high-speed boat races and insane concerts. The stage actually floated on the water. Legendary bands like Queen played here, and Jimmy Buffett famously jumped off the floating stage straight into the ocean during a wild concert. But in 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit the city. The city government quickly declared the stadium unsafe and shut it down. But here is the crazy secret. Later engineering tests proved the hurricane did absolutely no structural damage. The city used the storm as an excuse to close it because they did not want to pay for maintenance. For over 30 years, this gorgeous waterside arena sat abandoned, becoming the most famous graffiti canvas in the world. Because the graffiti made it popular online, local citizens fought hard to save it. Just recently, the city finally agreed to a $60 million plan to restore the stadium.
After 3 decades of failed attempts to make the Miami Marine Stadium what it once was, there's now a new attempt to bring this historic structure back to life.
Before we reveal our massive number 1, it is time for an honorable mention, RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. In the 1960s, cities thought it was a genius idea to build giant concrete donuts that could host both baseball and football. They used movable tracks to slide thousands of heavy seats around. RFK was incredibly famous for its bouncing bleachers, where the stands would literally bounce up and down when the crowds jumped. But trying to be good at everything meant these stadiums were great at absolutely nothing. The seats were too far from the field and the shape was awkward. Eventually, teams demanded their own specialized stadiums, and the era of the giant concrete cookie cutters died out, leaving places like RFK to be torn down. Number 1, the Houston Astrodome. When this colossal monster opened in 1965, it cost $35 million and was crowned the 8th wonder of the world. It was the first fully enclosed, air-conditioned stadium on the planet. It was so big, you could fit an 18-story building inside it. It forced the invention of artificial grass known as AstroTurf because real grass could not grow under the giant dome. It hosted boxing legends, rock stars, and served as a massive life-saving shelter for thousands of displaced refugees during a devastating hurricane. But the Astrodome was killed by its own success. The sports world evolved, and teams wanted luxury suites the dome did not have. The professional teams moved out, and the fire department locked the doors in 2008 due to safety violations. Here is the mind-bending trap the Astrodome is stuck in today. Because it is famous, it was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. This means the city is legally banned from knocking it down. but renovating it to meet modern safety codes would cost $752 million, while tearing it down would cost $55 million.
Now, renovating the dome would cost around $750 million with basic upgrades to plumbing and HVAC systems. Demolition, well, it wouldn't be cheap either at $55 million.
The city refuses to pay the massive renovation bill, but they are not allowed to use the wrecking ball. So the eighth wonder of the world is trapped in a bizarre legal purgatory. It sits there, a billion-dollar ghost town used as a giant storage closet. Professional sports have entered a dangerous new era. We are no longer building simple fields with metal bleachers. Today, cities are forging sprawling, high-tech micro-cities that cost more than the gross domestic product of small nations. From massive concrete cover-ups to roofs that slide open like camera lenses, these arenas are incredible feats of human engineering. But why did the most expensive stadium ever constructed require a massive seismic moat just to survive? Get ready, because we are counting down the 7 most expensive stadiums in the United States, focusing only on venues that are fully built or currently under construction, from least to absolute biggest. Before we start the countdown, it is worth noting 3 massive planned projects that are not on this list because they have not broken ground yet. The new stadiums for the Cleveland Browns, Kansas City Chiefs, and Washington Commanders are all projected to cost between $2.4 and $3.7 billion. If they were built today, they would completely dominate our top 5, but for now, they exist only on paper. So let us get to the real concrete and steel. Number 7. The Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. Cost $2 billion. We are starting our countdown with the newest and most expensive basketball arena ever constructed. Funded entirely by billionaire Steve Ballmer, this venue was designed to completely change how fans watch the game. It features a massive double-sided halo screen and a special section called The Wall, featuring 51 uninterrupted rows of steep seating meant to terrify opposing teams. However, the most bizarre engineering obsession inside this $2 billion fortress is actually the plumbing. The owner was absolutely furious about the idea of fans missing crucial plays because they were stuck waiting in line for the restroom. So he mandated the installation of 1,400 toilets and urinals throughout the building. That is 3 times the league average. The architects even used complex computer simulations to guarantee that a fan could leave their seat, use bathroom, and return during a standard television timeout. But despite all this technology, the arena suffered a massive, embarrassing failure. On opening night for a Bruno Mars concert, the stadium's billion-dollar facial recognition entry system completely crashed, locking thousands of furious fans outside for hours.
Bruno Mars fans were left singing "Leave the Door Open" literally out here at the brand new $2 billion Intuit Dome after a ticket scanner debacle delayed the show.
It is a $2 billion fortress built around bathroom efficiency that forgot how to open its own front doors. Number 6. New Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Cost $2.2 billion. The Buffalo Bills play in some of the most brutal, freezing winter weather on the planet. While most teams would immediately build an enclosed dome to escape the blizzards, Buffalo chose to spend over $2 billion to construct an open-air fortress designed to defeat the snow while preserving their legendary cold weather advantage. During the initial excavation, construction crews dug a massive, gaping hole that the internet affectionately named the Pit. A hilarious urban legend quickly spread that the Pit demanded sacrifices, leading fans to joke about throwing themselves into the dirt to ensure the team would win. When it is fully complete, this massive venue will feature the largest snowmelt system in the world, utilizing heavy-duty hydronic heating networks buried directly beneath the natural grass field and a sweeping canopy covering 64% of the seating. Number 5. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Cost $2.27 billion. This stadium is a visual masterpiece that looks like a metallic origami sculpture, but it hid a massive engineering nightmare. The roof was designed to look like the aperture of a camera lens, featuring 8 giant mechanical petals that slide open in a straight line to reveal the sky. Each of these massive moving petals weighs approximately 500 tons. During construction, this ambitious design turned into a massive headache. The heavy steel framework caused unpredictable friction, and the complex mechanisms struggled to operate smoothly. Eventually, structural engineers solved the friction issues, and today, those 8 massive petals can gracefully slide open in just 8 minutes. It is a stunning triumph of mechanical engineering that almost ended in an incredibly expensive disaster. Number 4. MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Cost $2.3 billion. When the New York Giants and the New York Jets decided to pool their money to build a new home, they faced a near impossible problem. How do you make a single building feel like a true, authentic home for 2 fierce rivals? The answer was a brilliant display of architectural neutrality. You will not find a single permanent team logo painted on the field or permanently stamped into the concrete walls. Instead, the entire building was engineered as a blank canvas. On a Saturday night, the stadium glows a vibrant, electric green for the Jets. Then, on Sunday morning, with the simple flip of a switch, it turns a deep, intimidating blue for the Giants. The grounds crew works tirelessly through the night to swap out the synthetic turf panels in the end zones so the fans never feel like they are sitting in the other team's living room. It cost $2.3 billion to build the ultimate sports chameleon. If you think designing for 2 different teams is complicated, wait until you hear about the massive fake safety test cover-up at number 2. Number 3. Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. Cost $2.330 billion. Known affectionately as the Death Star, this sleek black glass stadium sits right off the world-famous Las Vegas Strip, but the real magic is hidden in the details. To honor the team's late owner, the franchise constructed a massive 85-foot-tall flaming torch right inside the concourse. This is not just a standard statue. It is the largest 3-dimensional printed object on the entire planet, taking nearly 50,000 hours to design and build. And because they play in the harsh desert but demand a real natural grass field, they built a massive mechanical tray that rolls the entire field outside into the sun during the week, then seamlessly rolls it back inside for game day. Just a quick pause right here. If you are enjoying the video, kindly like and subscribe. It really helps the channel uncover more crazy mega projects. Now back to the countdown. Number 2. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Cost $3.45 billion. This stadium was meant to perfectly recreate the history and magic of baseball's most famous cathedral, but it was almost ruined by a terrifying construction scandal. Building a massive concrete and steel Colosseum in New York City requires incredibly strict safety protocols. However, a bombshell investigation revealed that the testing laboratory hired to verify the strength of the concrete had completely faked the safety test results. Executives from the lab were actually convicted of racketeering and enterprise corruption because they filed fake reports to save time and make more money. City officials had to scramble to completely retest the stadium's structural integrity to ensure it would not collapse under the weight of 50,000 cheering fans. Thankfully, the concrete was deemed safe. We are getting very close to the most expensive stadium in human history, but first, it is time for our honorable mention. This is a story of a famous arena that completely destroyed an architectural masterpiece. We are talking about Madison Square Garden in New York City. The current arena cost roughly $1.4 billion when adjusted for inflation and recent renovations, but the true cost was paid in pure history. To build the massive circular arena, developers completely demolished the original Pennsylvania station in 1963. The original station was a stunning Roman-style masterpiece with giant granite columns and a breathtaking glass ceiling. The public outrage over watching this gorgeous cathedral smashed to pieces just to build an entertainment venue sparked the modern historic preservation movement in the United States. Number 1. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. cost $6.840 billion. This is the undisputed king of all mega projects, a venue so incredibly expensive it defies all logic. Financed entirely by private money, this stadium is an absolute marvel of extreme engineering because it was built less than 4 miles from the runways at Los Angeles International Airport. The Federal Aviation Administration strictly limited how tall the building could be. To fit a massive 70,000-seat bowl into the active flight path, engineers had to dig incredibly deep. They excavated millions of tons of dirt and built the actual playing field 100 feet below the ground level. But digging a massive hole in Southern California introduces another terrifying problem: earthquakes. To ensure this multi-billion-dollar investment would not crumble into dust during the next major seismic event, engineers designed a massive 100-foot deep seismic moat that completely encircles the seating bowl. The sweeping transparent canopy roof is not actually attached to the stadium walls. It is a completely freestanding canopy held up by 37 massive earthquake-resistant columns. If a massive tremor hits, the roof and the seating bowl can move up to 5 feet independently without ever crashing into each other.
So behind each one of these panels is crimped metal strapping that extends back between 100 and 150 yards and is compacted with the earth. And the stadium is built on a big slab sitting on top of plinth columns that are separate from what this structure is touching. And then the roof structure is sitting independent of these two structures. Our building's roof can move 10 feet in any direction. So this moat encapsulates the entire stadium. So the 360 degrees around us, we have this big void so that if anything was to happen, the buildings will not interact with each other in any way.
Add in an 80 million pixel double-sided halo video board that actually weighs enough to safely hold the roof down in high winds, and you have a massive structure that feels more like a science fiction space station than a traditional football field. It is the most expensive, heavily over-engineered, and breathtaking stadium ever constructed in human history. A journey to the greatest monuments of human gathering. From the icy emptiness of Antarctica to the thundering heart of South America, we will witness how we build to gather, to compete, and to celebrate. This is the definitive list of the biggest stadiums on every continent, and we're starting with a place that doesn't even have one. Antarctica, the largest structure that isn't a stadium. Our journey begins in Antarctica, the only continent without a traditional stadium. Instead, its largest human-made structure is a testament to science and endurance. This is McMurdo Station, the largest of the United States year-round research bases, a veritable town of 146 buildings supporting up to 1,200 residents. Its humble origins trace back to 1955, when it was just a few tents pitched by the U.S. Navy during Operation Deep Freeze. From those beginnings, it grew into the massive hub it is today, home to the AP Crary Science and Engineering Center, and equipped with facilities that make it a livable town at the bottom of the world, from a coffee house to a station store. The closest thing to a stadium here is a natural, bowl-shaped feature on Elephant Island, aptly named The Stadium by a British expedition. It's a powerful reminder that on this last frontier, the landscape itself is the only grand design needed. South America, the passionate fortress. Our first true stadium takes us to Buenos Aires, Argentina, a city where football isn't just a game, it's a religion. Here stands the Estadio Más Monumental, the beating heart of the legendary River Plate Football Club. With a capacity of 85,018, it is the largest stadium on the continent. You may have heard of Estadio Azteca in Mexico, a monumental venue in its own right, but a common misconception places it in South America when it is, in fact, in North America. This correction solidifies the Estadio Más Monumental as the undisputed champion of a continent defined by its fervent passion for the game. This iconic stadium recently underwent a major renovation completed in 2023, which saw its capacity increase and modern facilities added. Unlike some venues that are completely rebuilt, the Estadio Más Monumental was upgraded with a sleek, modern design without losing its legendary soul, a perfect blend of history and forward-thinking architecture. Africa, a symbol of a continent. From the passion of Argentina, we fly to Johannesburg, South Africa, home to the FNB Stadium. You know it as Soccer City, the cauldron of the 2010 FIFA World Cup final. Capable of holding 94,736 people, it's Africa's largest stadium. But what makes this venue so special isn't just its size, it's its story. Its architectural design is inspired by the African calabash, a traditional pot. The immense scale of the 2010 renovations is mind-boggling, requiring 90,000 cubic meters of concrete and 13,000 tons of structural steel. To accommodate more seating, a reinforced concrete moat wall that circumnavigated the pitch had to be cut, and the entire soccer pitch was lowered 1.5 meters. This isn't just a building, it's a cultural artifact, a symbol of a continent hosting the world's biggest sporting event for the very first time. Europe, a blend of history and the future. Next, we travel to Barcelona, Spain, and one of the world's most iconic footballing cathedrals, Camp Nou. Opened in 1957, it has been the legendary home of FC Barcelona for generations. With a current capacity of 99,354, it is Europe's largest stadium. But that number is about to get even bigger. This historic venue is currently undergoing a massive renovation, a project costing hundreds of millions of euros that will expand its capacity to 105,000 seats and modernize every aspect of the facility. It's a project that is not just about size, but technology. The new Camp Nou will feature a 360-degree LED screen for an immersive match experience, smart stadium technology for seamless visitor services, and advanced rainwater collection and recycling systems. This approach of preserving and updating an iconic historical venue contrasts with the demolition and rebuilding strategy seen with the Narendra Modi Stadium. It reflects a trend in European football culture to maintain the deep cultural and historical legacy of these structures while adapting them to meet the economic and logistical demands of modern sport. We've covered 4 continents, and we're only just getting started. If you're enjoying this global tour of architectural might and human ingenuity, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us tell these incredible stories. Oceania, the multi-purpose marvel. Now, let's venture to Australia, where we find the Melbourne Cricket Ground, or the MCG as it's known to locals. With a capacity of 100,024, it is the largest stadium in Oceania. While it's now known as a true multi-purpose marvel, serving as a primary venue for both cricket and the uniquely Australian sport of Australian rules football. Its early history was much more restrictive. When the land was first granted, its use was restricted to cricket only, a condition that remained until the Melbourne Cricket Ground Act of 1933 widened its uses. It's a place steeped in history, having hosted the first ever Test cricket match, a tradition that speaks to its long and evolving legacy. In a fascinating historical tidbit, the MCG could theoretically accommodate over 200,000 spectators at peak configuration, back when bench-style seating was used, a glimpse into a time when sheer capacity was the only measure that mattered. North America, the home of giants. Our next stop is a continent of unparalleled scale, North America. Home to Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, United States, and with a capacity of 107,601, it is affectionately known as the Big House. The stadium's immense size is actually deceiving from the outside because most of its seating is built below ground level. The stadium was built in 1927 at a cost of $950,000, with an original capacity of 72,000 seats. Its design was inspired by the Yale Bowl, but its chief builder, Fielding Yost, wanted it to be even bigger, with footings included in the original design to allow for future expansion beyond 100,000 seats. Today, it's known for a quirky tradition. The official capacity figure has always ended in 01 since 1956, a single extra seat supposedly reserved for a former athletic director named Fritz Kreisler. But the Big House is not an anomaly. A closer look at the data reveals a remarkable phenomenon. 8 of the world's 10 largest stadiums are located in the United States and are primarily used for American college football. This staggering concentration of infrastructure speaks to the powerful regional loyalties and economic might of American collegiate athletics, where a game is more than an event. It's a generation-defining tradition. Asia, A Tale of Two Titans. Finally, we arrive in Asia, a continent that is home to two of the world's most massive stadiums. First, we head to Pyongyang, North Korea, and the Rungrado 1st of May Stadium. This venue stands unique on our list because its primary purpose extends far beyond competitive sport. With a capacity of 114,000, it is most famous for hosting the Arirang Mass Games, a spectacular and highly synchronized performance involving tens of thousands of participants. It was constructed in just 1 year, opened in May of 1989 in a direct response to rival South Korea hosting the 1988 Olympic Games. While its official capacity is 114,000, it once hosted a professional wrestling event with a reported 350,000 spectators over 2 nights, an astonishing, though unverified claim. Its scalloped roof, designed to resemble a magnolia blossom, is a visually striking and symbolic architectural feature. The stadium is an instrument of national identity and grand performances. And now for the undisputed champion, the largest stadium on Earth. We travel to Ahmedabad, India, to a place that represents the new benchmark for sports venues everywhere, the Narendra Modi Stadium. With a capacity of 132,000, it stands as the world's largest stadium. Originally known as Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium, it was completely demolished in 2015 and rebuilt as a state-of-the-art facility. The decision to rebuild rather than just renovate was at the direction of Narendra Modi himself, who had served as the Gujarat Cricket Association president. The new stadium's construction cost was approximately 800 crore rupees, or nearly $100 million. Its innovative pillarless design ensures an unobstructed view from every single seat. This massive complex is a self-contained hub, boasting 76 corporate boxes, a 55-room clubhouse, and even an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Since reopening, it has hosted major events, including the 2023 ICC World Cup final. Its renaming to honor the Indian Prime Minister sparked public controversy, yet the stadium stands as a marvel of modern engineering and a powerful symbol of cricket's cultural and economic dominance in the region. From the quiet outpost on the ice to the thunderous roars of the world's largest cricket stadium, we've seen how human ambition has built monuments to sport, culture, and national pride on every continent. The scale is almost impossible to comprehend, yet each venue tells a unique story.
The roar of 80,000 fans, a single moment of shared exhilaration. These are more than just sports venues. They are modern-day Colosseums, places where history is made and legends are born. But which ones reign supreme? From the home of German football's yellow wall to the hallowed turf of English rugby and the grand stage of London's biggest venue, we're counting down Europe's 5 largest stadiums. We begin our journey in Germany, at number 5 on our list, with Signal Iduna Park in Dortmund. With a capacity of 81,365, this isn't just a stadium, it's an experience. For Borussia Dortmund fans, this is the fortress of the Yellow Wall, the Südtribüne. It's the largest single standing terrace for spectators in Europe, holding nearly 25,000 fans who create a deafening wave of passion and noise. The atmosphere here is legendary, transforming every match into a spectacle of sound and color. It's a place where you don't just watch a game, you become a part of it. The stadium has a rich history, hosting World Cup matches in 1974 and 2006, and it's a testament to the club's deep connection with its fan base. Next, we head to England, to the home of rugby, Twickenham Stadium. With a capacity of 82,000, Twickenham is a cathedral of the sport. Located in the southwest of London, this stadium has been the exclusive home of the England national rugby union team since 1910. Its history is steeped in tradition, and it's a place where some of the sport's greatest battles have unfolded. The stands feel close to the pitch, amplifying the sounds of every tackle and every scrum. When the anthem rings out, the ground practically vibrates. But beyond the big tournaments and international fixtures, it's the home of the annual Army-Navy match, a fixture that speaks to the stadium's broader cultural significance. From the world of rugby, we cross the Irish Sea to Dublin, Ireland, and Croke Park. With a capacity of 82,300, Croke Park is a venue unlike any other. It's the headquarters of the Gaelic Athletic Association and hosts the finals of Ireland's national sports, Gaelic football and hurling. The All-Ireland finals are not just games, they're national events, and the atmosphere is electric. Every seat in the stadium offers a clear view, and the stands are designed to create a sense of unity and shared excitement. This stadium is more than just a sports venue. It's a living monument to Irish history and culture, a place where the heart and soul of the nation's heritage are on display. If you're finding this journey through Europe's grandest stadiums as fascinating as we are, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you stories about incredible feats of engineering and human achievement. Now, let's head back to Spain, to the iconic Santiago Bernabéu Stadium in Madrid. With a capacity of 81,044, this historic venue is the home of Real Madrid, one of the most successful football clubs in the world. The stadium is currently undergoing a massive renovation, promising to transform this historic venue into an even more advanced sports arena. Named after a legendary club president, the Bernabéu has hosted countless historic matches, including multiple Champions League finals. The sheer scale and modern design, with its retractable roof and cutting-edge technology, make it a marvel of engineering. It's a place where every match feels like a grand event, a symbol of sporting royalty. Finally, we arrive at the #1 spot, Wembley Stadium in London, England. With a staggering capacity of 90,000, Wembley is not just the largest stadium in the UK, it's an institution. Rising from the ashes of the original Empire Stadium, the new Wembley opened in 2007. It's instantly recognizable by its signature arch, a symbol of London's skyline. This stadium is the home of the England national football team and hosts the FA Cup final, but its stage has welcomed countless other events, from NFL games to massive concerts featuring the world's biggest music acts. The atmosphere during a major match is unparalleled, a roaring symphony of passion and national pride that you can feel in your bones. Wembley is more than just a stadium. It's the heart of English sport, a place where dreams are realized and legends are born. So there you have it, Europe's 5 biggest stadiums. Each one is a testament to the power of sport to bring people together, creating unforgettable moments and shared experiences. From the passionate roar of the Yellow Wall to the iconic Arch of Wembley, these stadiums are more than just buildings. They're living, breathing entities. What's the most incredible stadium you've ever been to? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this.